you pay the full premium. The government, I think, still kicks in a little bit, but that's going to be the most that you would pay. Now these reductions don't start until you're 65. The 75% reduction would start reducing at 2% per month when you turn 65. And if that's the option that you picked, you would then not pay anything for it when it starts reducing.
Okay, so we're talking about premiums here.
Yes.
So the value of that insurance is still the value of, well, I guess you had three, what, the last year? What's the value?
No, the value of your life insurance into retirement is whatever your salary was when you retired.
Okay.
Whatever.
Plus that two.
Plus the
Okay.
2,000, right.
So we have, and that amount stays constant now.
That amount stays constant
Right.
up until you're 65.
Right.
And then depending on which level you picked, then that value could start reducing.
Well, we need to have an idea of what the premium is when we're talking about 75
And this,
year.
and this is in the estimate that we provide you.
Oh,
Because it fluctuates with your salary.
I see.
So when you request an estimate from us, that is one thing that is in the estimate. It shows the premiums for each of these levels.
I see. So if the government continues to pay 75%, naturally.
No, not on the life insurance. The government only kicks in, while you're an employee, the government only kicks in a third of the basic coverage. The 75% there is the reduction that your value is going to start reducing when you turn 65, if that's the reduction level that you've picked.
Oh, see, that wasn't clear. So the reduction here we're talking about is the reduction in the cash value of this premium.
Correct.
The premium.
No, the cash value of the value of the insurance.
Okay, okay.
So
and
if
the premium is based on whatever calculation on my specific situation?
So if you retire and your salary was $97,000 and some change, so you're going to go into retirement with $100,000 of life insurance, basic coverage.
Right.
So if you pick 75% reduction, when you turn 65, that $100,000 is going to start reducing 2% per month until it gets down to $25,000, and then it's going to bottom out. That's as low as it's going to get.
But you stop paying premiums
But
at
you
65.
stop paying premiums when it starts reducing. It's then free.
Is that the same for the 50%?
The 50% reduction reduces at 1% per month until it gets down to 50%. So it basically takes about 4 years for both of these to get to their bottom level.
Then no more premium.
The 50%, you still pay a premium, but it's reduced. It's not the full amount. And again, the estimate that you receive from us shows each of those. And under the 75, there's actually 6 columns. Age at separation, and it'll show you 3 amounts for 0, 50, or 75% reduction. And then after 65, 0, 50, and 75. And the after 65, under the 75% reduction, will always be a 0. But it will have amounts in all the other columns so that you can see, based on how much you're willing to pay, what your choices.
Now, if you elect to take the no reduction or 50% reduction, to the premiums, are they subjected to any type of increases based on your age?
I believe so. I have to.
Like
At lunch, I will bring up my little charts.
The older you get, the more they want.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So the bottom line is 25,000, regardless which option.
Well, it depends on your salary. I mean, for,
Yeah, I'd say you get
Yeah.
100,000.
yeah. If you pick a 75% reduction, it will bottom out at 25,000.
What about the SAMPA benefits?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
We will get to that, probably after lunch.
A couple
So
of
that's no
slides.
insurance at all, actually.
Question.
A couple of slides right before that, there was a statement in there that said, terminate terminate. There's 2 slides before that.
Two slides before this.
Let's see.
Oh, for a postponed annuity. Back when I was talking about if you were going to retire, but you might be subject to that age penalty reduction. So you would, if you wanted to postpone receiving your annuity to avoid that penalty, your FEGLI coverage would terminate, but as long as you were eligible for your annuity when you separated, you would get it reinstated excuse me, when you applied for your annuity. That's what, yeah. But now on the deferred, where you weren't eligible when you separated, then you permanently lose your entitlement to this. Okay, now we're going to talk about your choices for the optional. For option A, if you have option A and you want to take option A and you're thinking about it, your only choices with option A are to take it into retirement or not to take it. If you do take it into retirement, it automatically reduces at the 75% level, and you don't. And when it starts reducing, you don't pay for it. So that's $10,000 of coverage. It reduces down to $2,500. Option B and C, your choices are to take it or not. And if you do take it in to retirement, your choice is full reduction, where it would reduce down to 0, or no reduction, where it would not reduce at all. And you can mix, if you have multiples, you can do some at full, some at none, all at full, all at none. That option B, as some of you may know, if you have option B now, it starts getting pricey as you get older. It gets real pricey into retirement. Option B, salaries in the $80, $90 range. I've seen premiums $150 to $200 per multiple per month for no reduction. Now for full reduction, at 65, just like with the basic, if you pick full reduction at age 65, you no longer pay for it. So you could, but it's going to reduce down to 0, and you will have paid for it up until that point. Okay. Yeah. Now the B and C is definitely based on your age. Okay. And your choices are pretty much final. You can cancel it. You can cancel your life insurance just like you can now. Once you're a retiree, you can cancel out of it at any time. And you can reduce it. If you start, I'll change the election of no reduction is fine. I was just reading somewhere that you can reduce it just like you can. So I guess if you've opted for X number of multiples into retirement and you want to reduce the multiples, you could do so. Or you could just cancel out of any of the options that you have at any time. Samba. You can take Samba into retirement with you, but not at the same rates that we're paying now. Next. Some of you may have seen the increases because they should have taken effect at the beginning of September. Yeah, the new premiums now, if you have Samba, if you have the option 1, 17.5, it's now costing $39 per year. If you have the option 2, it's $78 per year. What's nice with Samba, while you're an employee, if something happens to you and you pass away, this is paid to your beneficiary 24, 48 hours even before we have death certificates. We notify Samba, and they check their records for the beneficiary, and they issue the check. We get the death certificates to them afterwards. Death counseling is another, people were asking why we don't do some of these more. That's something else that our office does. When an employee passes away, we send people out to the family and counsel them on their benefits based on the employee's service. And we take the paperwork and help them get through all the forms, and we bring it all back and we file for all their benefits on their behalf. So, but when you retire, you can convert your Samba to an individual policy. So those premiums, you would need to contact Samba if you were interested. I contacted them once, hoping that there might be a quick formula, but it's dependent on where you are, your salary, how old you're going to be when you retire. There's a lot of variables, thank you, to play into it. But it can be converted to an individual policy, so you can take it into retirement if you want, but that would be between you and Samba directly. Yeah, I think so. What's next? Yeah. So let's break for lunch and 1 o'clock. Come back at 1?
Yeah.